1998, Giza Plateau, Egypt. German robotics engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sends a miniature robot up a narrow shaft inside the Great Pyramid. The shaft is 8 inches square, runs 200 feet into solid limestone. No human has been inside for 4,000 years. The robot climbs. Its camera transmits grainy footage. Stone walls smooth as glass. Precision cuts. 0 tool marks. Then the robot stops. Blocked. A limestone door, 8 inches thick. 2 copper handles embedded in the surface. Handles corroded green. Ancient. Untouched. Behind that door, unknown. Gantenbrink requests permission to drill a tiny hole, see what's inside. The Egyptian Antiquities Authority says no. Project terminated. Gantenbrink's contract cancelled within 72 hours. The shaft sealed. Declared off-limits. 27 years later, that door still hasn't been opened. And here's the thing. That shaft wasn't in any historical record. Egyptian authorities didn't know it existed. Gantenbrink found it by accident while installing a ventilation system. So what else is inside the pyramids that we don't know about? Better question, what are they afraid we'll find? Because this isn't the only example, not even close. Across the globe, from the jungles of Bolivia to the temples of Turkey, there are artifacts that don't fit, structures that shouldn't exist, technologies our ancestors supposedly didn't have. And when independent researchers ask questions, funding disappears, access denied, evidence locked away in basement archives where nobody can see it. They tell us human civilization started 10,000 years ago. Hunter-gatherers figured out farming, built mud huts, gradually learned to stack stones, progressed in a nice straight line from primitive to advanced. Clean story, simple timeline, easy to teach. But the physical evidence? It's screaming something different. You're about to see artifacts that challenge everything. Precision engineering that requires computer-controlled tools. Astronomical knowledge that demands centuries of observation. Construction techniques we can't replicate today, even with cranes and laser levels. And here's what nobody wants to admit. These things exist. They're real. You can touch them, measure them, photograph them. But explaining them? That's where the academic world goes silent. So let me ask you something. If our ancestors were so primitive, barely evolved beyond banging rocks together, how did they move stones weighing 800 tons? How did they carve granite with copper tools? How did they calculate the circumference of the Earth without satellites? Think about it. Really think. And drop your answer in the comments. Because either we've been lied to about our capabilities as a species, or someone came before us. Someone we've erased from history. Let's find out which one. The official story goes like this. Homo sapiens emerged around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Spent most of that time as nomadic tribes, hunting, gathering, living in caves, rough tools, basic survival. Then, around 10,000 BC, boom, agricultural revolution. Suddenly, we're planting crops, domesticating animals, building permanent settlements. Mesopotamia, Egypt, Indus Valley, all rising within a few thousand years of each other. Standard progression, primitive to civilized. Bronze Age, Iron Age, each advancement building on the last. Makes sense, right? Logical, clean. Except there's a problem, a big one. The earliest known megalithic structure on Earth? Göbekli Tepe, southeastern Turkey, discovered in 1994 by German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt. He was doing a routine survey, checking hilltops for pottery shards. found carved stones instead. Massive stones, T-shaped pillars, 16 feet tall, weighing 16 tons each, arranged in circles, 20 circles total. Intricate carvings covering every surface. Lions, foxes, scorpions, vultures. Three-dimensional reliefs carved with precision. Schmidt started excavating, carbon dating the organic material in the mortar. Results came back. 9,500 BC. Let that sink in. 11,500 years old. Built 3,000 years before Stonehenge. 6,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. 7,000 years before writing was invented. According to the official timeline, humans at that point were still figuring out agriculture, still living in scattered tribes, no cities, no organization, no hierarchy. Yet somehow they quarried stones from bedrock, transported them miles, carved detailed artwork, engineered structural supports, coordinated hundreds, maybe thousands of workers. And here's the strangest part. After building this complex, they buried it, deliberately, filled the entire site with debris and dirt, covered it completely, walked away. Why? Schmidt spent the rest of his life excavating. Died in 2014. Never found an answer. The Turkish government restricts access now. Limited permits, controlled digging. Most of the site remains underground. Estimates say they've uncovered 5%, maybe less. What's in the other 95%? But Göbekli Tepe isn't alone. There are older sites, structures that push the timeline back even further. And that's where things get uncomfortable for mainstream archaeology. Puma Punku, Bolivia, high Andes, altitude 13,000 feet, oxygen thin, temperature freezing at night, middle of nowhere. Site consists of megalithic stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons. Andesite, volcanic rock. Hardness 8.5 on Mohs scale, harder than most metal tools. But these blocks? They're cut with machine precision. Flat surfaces accurate to within 0.02 of an inch. Perfectly straight edges, right angles exact to 0.01 degrees. Interlocking grooves that fit together like Lego pieces. No mortar, no gaps. Blade of grass won't slide between them. Archaeologist Arthur Poznansky studied the site for 40 years, early 1900s. He measured the astronomical alignments, calculated the angle of the stones relative to celestial bodies, used archaeoastronomy to date construction. His conclusion? 15,000 BC, 17,000 years old. Academic community rejected it, called him a crackpot, said his methods were flawed, insisted the site was built around 500 AD by the Tiwanaku culture. But here's the issue. The Tiwanaku didn't have bronze tools. They used copper and stone. You can't carve andesite with copper. It's too soft. Copper blade would crumble. And even if they had bronze, still impossible. Modern diamond-tipped saws struggle with andesite. Takes hours to make a single straight cut. And these blocks have dozens of cuts. Complex angles, beveled edges. Interior channels carved into solid stone. Try replicating that with a copper chisel. Go ahead. Several engineers attempted it. Documented experiments. Best results? Rough approximations. Nothing close to Puma Punku precision. And the engineers had steel tools, electric power, measuring equipment. The Tiwanaku supposedly had none of that. So either they possessed advanced technology we don't know about, or someone else built it. Third option? Official dating is wrong. But museums stick to 500 AD. Textbooks repeat it. Tour guides memorize it. Why? Because admitting Pumapunku is older means rewriting everything. Entire fields of study collapse. PhDs become worthless. Careers end. Funding dries up. Easier to ignore the contradictions, bury the questions, move on. But the stones don't lie. They're still there, still precise, still unexplained. And they're not the only ones. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built supposedly around 2500 BC for Pharaoh Khufu.
Tomb for a king. That's the story, taught in every school. 2.3 million stone blocks, average weight 2.5 tons. Largest blocks, 80 tons. Granite beams in the king's chamber, transported from Aswan, 500 miles south. Official explanation? Ramps, wooden sleds, copper tools, thousands of workers pulling ropes. 20 years of construction. Sounds plausible, until you do the math. 2.3 million blocks, 20 years. That's 115,000 blocks per year, 315 blocks per day, 1 block every 2 minutes, for 20 years straight. No breaks, no holidays, no mistakes. Include quarrying time, transport time, lifting time, positioning time. You'd need to place 1 block every 90 seconds, around the clock, for 2 decades. Physically possible? Barely. With perfect coordination, 0 delays, no tool failures, no injuries, no problems. But that's not even the hard part. The hard part is the precision.
Base of the pyramid? Near perfect square. Each side 755 feet long. Difference between longest and shortest side? Less than 2 inches. Error margin, 0.02%. Corners? Exactly 90 degrees. Within 0.05 degrees of perfect. Alignment? Cardinal directions. North, south, east, west. Accurate to 3/60ths of a single degree. Try building that with rope and copper. Without computers. Without laser levels. Without GPS. And the interior, even stranger. King's chamber, granite walls, 9 beams forming the ceiling. Each beam weighs 50 to 70 tons, positioned 25 stories up. Gaps between beams less than 1/50th of an inch. How do you lift 70 tons that high? Wooden ramps collapse under that weight. Leverage systems require massive counterweights. Pulley systems need metal cables, which didn't exist. Engineer Christopher Dunn spent decades analyzing the pyramid, measured everything with modern instruments, published his findings. The Giza Power Plant, 2012. His conclusion? The pyramid wasn't a tomb. It was a machine, some kind of energy device. The shafts were waveguides. The king's chamber was a resonance chamber. The entire structure designed to generate power. Academic world dismissed him, said he was imagining things. Tomb theory stands firm. But here's what they won't address. Not a single hieroglyph inside the Great Pyramid. No inscriptions, no paintings, no decorations. Every other Egyptian tomb, covered floor to ceiling with text. Stories of the pharaoh, prayers for the afterlife, maps to guide the soul. Khufu's tomb? Bare stone. Nothing. And no mummy, no treasure, no artifacts. The sarcophagus in the king's chamber? Empty when first opened. No lid, no seal, no sign it ever held a body. So if it's not a tomb, what is it? The Egyptian government won't allow invasive testing. No core samples, No ground-penetrating radar beyond basic surveys.
Internal chambers detected in 2017. Off limits. Exploration denied. Why? What are they protecting? Or what are they hiding? 1936, Baghdad, Iraq. German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig, working for the Iraq Museum, cataloging artifacts in storage. Dusty shelves, forgotten objects, clay pots, broken tablets. Then he finds something odd. Terracotta jar, 5 inches tall, yellow clay, cork stopper. Nothing special, except there's a copper cylinder inside, suspended by asphalt. Iron rod running through the center, rod corroded, copper oxidized. Ancient. Koenig recognized the design. Galvanic cell, primitive battery. Fill the jar with acidic liquid, vinegar or citrus juice, and it generates electrical current. He tested it. Worked. 0.5 volts, enough to electroplate metal, enough to power small devices. Carbon dating the asphalt. Results? 200 BC. 2,000 years old. But electricity wasn't discovered until 1791. Alessandro Volta. First battery. Or was it? Because the Baghdad battery predates Volta by 2,000 years, and it's not unique. Koenig found 12 more, all similar design, all functional, all ancient. So what were they using electricity for? Mainstream archaeology says decorative purposes, gold plating jewelry, aesthetic enhancement. But here's the problem. To gold plate an object, you need consistent current, stable chemical solution, knowledge of electrochemistry, understanding of oxidation and reduction reactions. That's not basic knowledge. That's advanced science. And if they had batteries, what else did they have? Lights? Tools? Machines? The Baghdad Museum stored the batteries until 2003. Then the Iraq War. Museum looted, artifacts stolen, batteries vanished. Some ended up in private collections, most disappeared entirely. Evidence gone. Convenient. But photographs exist. Koenig's notes exist. The science exists. And the question remains. What did the ancients know that we're being told they didn't? Saqqara, Egypt, 1998. Mastaba Tomb 3. Archaeologist Dr. Khalil Masiha examining wooden artifacts. Small models, boats, animals, toys buried with the deceased. One model catches his eye. Wooden bird, sycamore wood, 6 inches long, wingspan 7 inches, carved around 200 BC. Except it doesn't look like a bird. Wings too straight, tail vertical, proportions wrong. Masiha was an aeronautics engineer before becoming an archaeologist. He recognized the shape immediately. Glider, modern design, fixed wings, vertical stabilizer, aerodynamic profile. He built a scale replica, balsa wood, exact dimensions. Took it to a wind tunnel, tested it. It flew, perfectly stable. Glide ratio 1:7, better than most modern paper airplanes. Masiha presented his findings, proposed the ancient Egyptians understood flight, had knowledge of aerodynamics, maybe built larger versions. Academic community laughed, called it a bird, decorative object, ceremonial toy, nothing more. But bird wings aren't straight. They curve, taper, flex. This object? Rigid, symmetrical, engineered. And the tail? Birds don't have vertical stabilizers. That's an airplane feature. Prevents yaw, maintains directional stability.
Why would a decorative bird need aerodynamic stability? The artifact sits in the Cairo Museum, labeled as a bird, case closed. But independent researchers keep studying it, keep building replicas, keep proving it flies. And the question won't go away. If they carved a functioning glider, did they build bigger ones? Did they actually fly? Hieroglyphs at Abydos Temple show strange objects, helicopter-like shapes, submarine-like forms, aircraft-like designs. Egyptologists say they're palimpsests, overlapping hieroglyphs, random coincidence, pareidolia. But the shapes are too specific, too consistent, too functional looking. What if they're not coincidence? What if they're memories, records of actual machines? What if our ancestors were more advanced than we think? And what if that knowledge was deliberately erased? The pattern repeats across continents. Ancient sites, impossible precision, advanced knowledge, then suppression. Take the Antikythera mechanism. Discovered 1901 off the coast of Greece. Bronze device, corroded beyond recognition. Sat in a museum for 50 years, ignored. Then X-ray technology improved. Scientists scanned it, found gears inside. 30 bronze gears. Differential mechanisms, epicyclic gearing. It's an analog computer. Predicts astronomical positions, tracks solar eclipses, calculates planetary movements. Built around 100 BC. Next comparable device? 1400 AD, Byzantine Empire. 1,000-year gap. How did Greek engineers build something that wouldn't be matched for a millennium? And why didn't the technology spread? Why didn't it evolve? Why did it disappear? Because knowledge was lost, deliberately. Libraries burned, scholars killed, records destroyed. Library of Alexandria burned. How many times? At least 3 major fires. Julius Caesar, Christian mobs, Muslim conquest. Each time, irreplaceable knowledge turned to ash. How many texts described ancient technologies? How many blueprints? How many formulas? We'll never know. They're gone. But fragments survive. Hints, clues, physical objects that prove the knowledge existed. The question isn't whether our ancestors were advanced. The evidence proves they were. The question is, why are we taught they weren't? Because here's what happens when researchers challenge the narrative. Dr. Robert Schoch, Boston University geologist, examined the Sphinx in 1990, studied erosion patterns on the limestone, vertical weathering, deep fissures, water erosion. Problem? Egypt's been arid for 5,000 years. No rainfall, no water erosion. Unless the Sphinx is older, much older. Schoch calculated. Based on erosion depth, climate data, geological records. His dating? 7,000 to 9,000 BC. At least 9,000 years old, maybe 12,000. Egyptian authorities rejected it, attacked his credentials, denied his findings, refused further access to the site. Schoch stands by his research. Geological evidence doesn't lie. The erosion happened. Water caused it. Therefore, rain. Therefore, older than official history claims. But textbooks still say 2500 BC. Museums repeat it. Nothing changes. Or Dr. Virginia Steen McIntyre, geologist working in Mexico. 7473, excavating Hueyatlaco site. Stone tools, spearheads, worked material. She used 4 different dating methods: uranium-thorium, fission track, tetrahydration, mineral weathering. All 4 methods agreed. 250,000 years old. Problem: humans supposedly reached the Americas 12,000 years ago, not 250,000.
Her supervisor told her to redo the tests. Results didn't change. He told her to suppress the findings. She refused. Lost her job. Blacklisted from academic positions. Research unpublished for years. She finally released it independently. 1981. Academic community ignored it. No peer review, no discussion. Memory hold. But the artifacts remain. Still dated to 250,000 years. Still unexplained. Pattern clear? Challenge the timeline, lose your career. So what's in Gantenbrink's shaft? Behind that copper-handled door? What's buried at Göbekli Tepe in the 95% they won't excavate? What powered the Baghdad batteries? What did the Saqqara glider model? What machines did the Antikythera mechanism control? And why, when researchers find evidence, does access get denied? Funding cut? Careers destroyed? You want the truth? Follow the evidence, not the textbooks. Because the stones don't lie. The artifacts don't lie. The measurements don't lie. Only the explanations do. And maybe, just maybe, there's a reason for that. Maybe our history isn't a story of progress from primitive to advanced. Maybe it's a story of loss, collapse, forgetting. Maybe we're not the first. Maybe civilizations rose before us, built impossible things, knew impossible things, then vanished, leaving only fragments, clues, mysteries. And maybe some people don't want us remembering, don't want us asking questions, don't want us connecting the dots. Because if we knew what they knew, if we built what they built, if we remembered what we forgot, everything changes. Power shifts, control breaks. The official story crumbles. Can't have that. So they seal the shafts, bury the sites, suppress the research, destroy the careers of anyone who digs too deep. Keep us believing we're the pinnacle, the most advanced, the first. Keep us ignorant. And it works, for most people. But not everyone. Some notice the contradictions, see through the lies. Ask the forbidden questions. Those people? Dangerous. Threats to the narrative. Those people need to be silenced. And sometimes, they are. 2014. Klaus Schmidt dies. Heart attack, age 61. Middle of excavating Göbekli Tepe. No prior heart problems, sudden, unexpected. His replacement? Turkish archaeologist appointed by the government. Excavation slows, site access restricted, independent researchers turned away. Coincidence? Christopher Dunn, engineer who analyzed the pyramids, wrote the Giza power plant, attacked by academic community, called pseudoscientist, conspiracy theorist, ignored. Still publishes, still researches, but no university funding, no institutional support, works independently. Punishment for questioning? Graham Hancock, journalist, author, researcher. Spent 30 years investigating ancient civilizations, published Fingerprints of the Gods, Magicians of the Gods, Netflix documentary Ancient Apocalypse. Mainstream archaeology hates him. Calls his work dangerous, calls him a grifter, demands his content be removed. Society for American Archaeology released official statement 2022. Condemned his Netflix series, called it harmful to archaeology, urged Netflix to add disclaimers,
label it fiction. Why? Because he asks questions, shows evidence, proposes alternatives. Can't allow that. Might make people think. And thinking people? Dangerous. But here's the thing they can't suppress: the physical evidence. You can silence researchers, discredit scientists, restrict access to sites, but you can't erase the stones, can't unmake the artifacts, can't change the measurements. Pumapumku blocks still fit with machine precision. Göbekli Tepe pillars still stand. Baghdad batteries still generate current. Saqqara glider still flies. Those things exist, real, tangible, testable, and they tell a story, different from the official one, older, stranger, more advanced. A story where human history isn't linear,
Isn't simple, isn't primitive to advanced. A story where we rose before, fell before, lost everything before. And maybe, if we're not careful, we'll lose it all again. Because the evidence suggests cycles. Civilizations peaking, collapsing, resetting. Knowledge accumulating, then vanishing. Atlantis wasn't a myth. It was a memory, distorted through retellings, but based on something real. Advanced civilization, island nation, destroyed in a single day, swallowed by the sea. Plato wrote about it, described it in detail, said it existed 9,000 years before his time. Everyone calls it fiction, metaphor, philosophical teaching tool. But what if he was recording history, passing down oral traditions, preserving what little survived? Because here's the geological fact. 12,800 years ago, massive event. Global catastrophe. Younger Dryas impact. Comet fragments hit the ice sheets, triggered floods, rapid climate change, mass extinctions.
Sea levels rose 400 feet. Coastlines drowned. Entire regions submerged. Where did humans live 12,000 years ago? Near water, rivers, coasts, easy access to resources. All those settlements? Underwater now. Submerged ruins found off the coast of India, Japan, Cuba, Malta. Structures 40 feet to 120 feet below current sea level. Carbon dating impossible. Stone doesn't decay. Can't test it. But based on sea level data? Built when that land was above water, meaning 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, before the floods, before recorded history. Mainstream archaeology ignores them, says they're natural formations, geological anomalies, not man-made. But the structures have right angles, straight edges, carved steps, intentional designs. Nature doesn't build in right angles. So who built them? When? Why? And what happened to the people who did? They drowned, cities lost, knowledge destroyed, survivors scattered, civilization reset to zero.
Took us 10,000 years to climb back, rebuild, relearn. And we still haven't matched what they had. Non-Medal, Micronesia, artificial islands. 92 islands total, built from basalt. Massive hexagonal columns, each weighing several tons, stacked without mortar, covering 11 square miles. Construction date? Somewhere between 1200 and 1500 AD, according to official estimates. But local legends say different. Say it was built by twin sorcerers, Olosopa and Olosipa, using levitation magic, flew the stones through the air, placed them with thought alone. Magic? Obviously not real. But what if the legends preserve a memory, a technique,
a technology mistaken for magic. Because moving those stones conventionally, nearly impossible. No quarry nearby. The salt came from opposite side of the island, miles away, through dense jungle, over rough terrain. No wheels, no metal tools, no machinery. Yet the columns sit perfectly positioned.
Walls 25 feet high, foundations underwater. Built to withstand Pacific typhoons, and they've stood for centuries.
How?
Archaeologists don't know, don't like to talk about it. Dismiss it as primitive ingenuity, human perseverance, enough manpower. But the math doesn't work. The logistics don't work. The timeline doesn't work. Unless there was technology, methods we don't understand, knowledge we've lost. Same story everywhere. Easter Island, Stonehenge, Baalbek, Tiwanaku. Massive stones, impossible logistics, precise engineering. No explanation, just silence. And suppression. Baalbek, Lebanon. Roman temple complex, built on older foundation, much older. Foundation stones, largest in the world. 3 blocks called the Trilithon, each weighing 800 tons, positioned 20 feet off the ground, fitted together perfectly. Romans didn't move those. They built on top of them, added columns, temples, decorations. But the foundation? Pre-Roman, possibly pre-Phoenician. How old? Unknown. No organic material to date. Stone doesn't decay. But the quarry? Half a mile away, uphill. 1 block still sits there, partially cut. 900 tons. Never moved. Why? Maybe they couldn't. Maybe whatever technology they used failed, stopped working, was lost, and the project abandoned, leaving behind a mystery. Proof of capability. No explanation. Because 800 tons, modern cranes max out at 200 tons. Need multiple cranes, computer coordination, hydraulic systems, steel cables. Ancient builders had none of that. Yet they moved 3 of these monsters, lifted them 20 feet, placed them exactly. Then, nothing. Knowledge vanished, capability lost, forgotten. Until now. When we dig them up, measure them, struggle to explain them, and get told primitive humans, ropes, logs, manpower. Believe that if you want, but the stones say otherwise. So here's where we are. Evidence everywhere, contradicting official history, showing advanced knowledge. Ancient technology, lost capabilities. And every time researchers investigate, resistance, denial, suppression, access restricted, sites sealed, funding cut, careers destroyed. Why? Maybe because the truth threatens too much, rewrites too much, changes too much. Maybe because powerful institutions built their authority on the current narrative. Academia, museums, governments, religious organizations. Admitting they're wrong? Admitting they've been teaching lies for centuries? Can't do it. Won't do it. Too much at stake. Too much to lose. So they double down, attack the questioners, protect the orthodoxy, maintain control. But the evidence doesn't care, doesn't bend, doesn't disappear. It sits there, waiting, challenging, demanding explanation. And some people, they're brave enough to look, to measure, to test, to think. Those people find the truth, piece by piece, site by site, artifact by artifact. And they share it,
despite the risks, despite the attacks, despite everything.
Because humanity deserves to know, deserves to remember, deserves the truth. Our ancestors weren't primitive. They weren't ignorant. They weren't helpless. They built wonders, mastered sciences, achieved greatness, then lost it all. And maybe, if we're not careful, we'll do the same. Forget our own achievements, suppress our own knowledge, destroy our own future. History repeats, cycles turn, civilizations rise and fall. Question is, will we remember? Will we learn? Will we break the cycle? Or will we bury the evidence, close the doors, and pretend we're the first? But there's something else. Something they really don't want found. Something hidden. Not in museums. Not in universities. Not in public records. Something locked away. Classified. Guarded. Forbidden. Physical proof. Undeniable. Irrefutable. Game-changing. And it's closer than you think. Because in 1933, deep in the Egyptian desert, an expedition found something. Something that changed everything they thought they knew. Led by a French archaeologist, team of 12, funded privately. No government oversight, no official permits. They were looking for a specific tomb, following ancient texts, Coptic manuscripts, Gnostic Gospels, references to a chamber, hidden, sealed, containing... But I'm getting ahead. The details matter. The sequence matters. Let me take you back to the expedition, to the discovery, to the moment everything shifted, and to the object they found. The object that vanished within 48 hours, confiscated, classified, disappeared. The object that 3 team members died trying to protect. The object that proves, without question, our history is a lie. 1933, April, Egyptian desert, 70 miles southwest of Cairo. No roads, no settlements, just sand and limestone cliffs. Dr. Antoine Chevalier, French archaeologist, 52 years old, 20 years experience, fluent in Coptic and ancient Greek. Obsessed with Gnostic texts, he'd found references, scattered across manuscripts, Alexandria, Constantinople, Damascus, all mentioning the same thing. A chamber, pre-dynastic, older than the pharaohs, containing knowledge from before the flood. Before the flood. That phrase appeared 17 times across 9 different texts, written centuries apart. Different authors, different languages, same message. Hidden chamber, sealed knowledge, forbidden truth. Chevalier spent 3 years cross-referencing, triangulating locations, mapping ancient waterways, studying geological surveys, narrowing the search area. He raised private funding, American industrialist, name redacted from records, $200,000, massive sum for 1933, enough to equip a serious expedition. 12 team members, 6 French, 4 Egyptian, 2 German engineers, photography equipment, survey tools, excavation gear, provisions for 6 months. They left Cairo April 9th. Traveled by truck and camel. Reached the site April 14th. Established base camp. Started surveying. 3 weeks of mapping, ground-penetrating surveys, rudimentary seismic testing, checking for cavities, hollow spaces beneath the sand. May 4th, they found it. Bedrock anomaly, cavity signature, 20 feet below surface. Chamber roughly 30 feet by 40 feet. Excavation started immediately. 16-hour days,
Brutal heat. Temperatures 120 degrees by midday. Sandstorms every 3 days. Brutal conditions. But they kept digging. Driven. Obsessed. Convinced they were close to something monumental. May 19th, 2 weeks later, they broke through. Limestone cap, carved, 5 feet thick, covered in symbols, not hieroglyphs, older, pre-hieroglyphic script. Nobody could read it. They photographed everything, detailed documentation, every symbol, every chisel mark, every dimension. Then they removed the cap. Took 8 men, pulleys, leverage bars. 4 hours of work. Stone weighed nearly 3 tons. Beneath, darkness. Shaft descending. Carved steps, steep, narrow. Walls smooth as glass. Temperature inside, 68 degrees. Outside, 115. The chamber was climate-controlled, somehow, impossibly. Air smelled stale, dry. Faint metallic taste, like copper. Like ozone after lightning. Chevalier went first. Flashlight, notebook, camera. 5 team members followed. 3 stayed topside. Security and documentation. They descended 37 steps, counted them. Each step identical. Precision cut. 8 inches high, 12 inches deep. Perfect consistency. At the bottom, a chamber. Exactly as described in the texts. 32 feet by 41 feet. Ceiling 12 feet high. Walls polished limestone. Floor granite. Different stone. Imported. From where? Unknown. But the chamber wasn't empty. Not even close. Center of the room, a stone pedestal, 4 feet tall, carved from single block of black granite. Surface covered in the same pre-hieroglyphic symbols. Spirals, concentric circles, geometric patterns. And on the pedestal, an object. Metallic, cylindrical, 18 inches long, 6 inches diameter. Weight approximately 22 pounds based on lifting effort. Surface unlike anything they'd seen. Not bronze, not copper, not iron. Silvery gray, reflective, but not polished. Naturally lustrous. No oxidation, no corrosion, no patina. The metal felt warm, not hot, just warm, like body temperature, even though the chamber was cool. Dr. Heinrich Richter, German metallurgist on the team. He examined it first, scratched the surface with steel knife. No mark. Tried harder. Blade broke, left no scratch. He estimated hardness, greater than tool steel, comparable to tungsten carbide, but lighter, much lighter. Too light for tungsten. Density wrong. Weight to volume ratio didn't match any known metal. Chevalier documented everything. Photographs, sketches, measurements, written descriptions. Sent the first report back to his financier May 21st. Telegram. Brief. Cryptic. Object recovered. Composition unknown. Requires laboratory analysis. Returning Cairo, June 1st. But they never made it back. May 23rd, 4 days after discovering the object, team still on site, cataloging chamber contents, photographing walls, documenting symbols. 3 vehicles approach camp, British military, 2 trucks, 1 staff car, 14 soldiers, 1 officer, Captain William Bradford, British intelligence, Cairo station. He had orders, official paperwork. Archaeological permit revoked. Site declared military restricted zone. Immediate evacuation required. Chevalier protested, showed his permits, private funding, no government involvement, legal excavation. Bradford didn't care. Orders from above, colonel level, possibly higher. The site was now Crown property, all findings forfeit. Team had 6 hours to pack personal items and leave. The object? Confiscated. Crated.
Loaded into the staff car, along with all photographs, all notes, all documentation. Chevalier demanded receipts, legal documentation, proof of seizure. Bradford gave him nothing, just orders to leave, threats of arrest if they resisted. Egyptian team members argued. This was Egyptian soil. British had no authority, sovereignty, Independence Treaty of 1922. Bradford's response? Soldiers raised rifles. Debate over. The expedition packed, left everything. Tents, equipment, supplies. Took only personal belongings. Drove back to Cairo. Arrived May 24th, evening. Chevalier went straight to the French consulate, filed formal complaint, demanded investigation, wanted his findings returned, his permits honored. Justice. Consul promised to contact London, make inquiries, get answers. But that night, May 24th into May 25th, 3 team members died. Dr. Heinrich Richter, the metallurgist, found in his hotel room, apparent heart attack, age 39. No prior heart problems. Autopsy inconclusive. Jean-Paul Moreau, expedition photographer, died in his sleep, carbon monoxide poisoning, faulty room heater. Age 43, healthy, fit, dead. Ahmed Hassan, Egyptian surveyor, hit by truck crossing the street. Driver never found. Witnesses said truck had no plates, no markings. Deliberate hit. Didn't brake. Didn't stop. Gone. 3 deaths, 12 hours. Same expedition team, same discovery, same object. Coincidence? Remaining team members panicked, scattered, left Egypt immediately. France, Germany, England, America, anywhere but Cairo. Chevalier stayed, stubborn, determined, demanded answers, demanded justice, demanded his work recognized. French consulate made inquiries. British stonewalled. No record of Captain Bradford. No military operation May 23rd. No confiscated materials. Nothing. The site? Buried, filled in, covered with sand. Marked as Geological Survey Zone. Restricted access. Guarded. Chevalier's permits? Revoked retroactively. Declared fraudulent. He was threatened with arrest for illegal excavation, trespassing, theft of antiquities. He fled Egypt. June 7th, returned to Paris. Broken, defeated, discredited. Spent the next 3 years trying to publish his findings. Every journal rejected him. Every university ignored him. Every museum dismissed him. His photographs? Confiscated. His notes? Gone. His samples? Disappeared. All he had left? Memory. And a single sketch, drawn from memory. The cylindrical object, the symbols, the chamber layout. He died 1936, age 55. Officially, stroke. Unofficially, convenient timing. His sketch survived. His daughter kept it, passed it down, eventually donated to French National Library. Archived, forgotten. Until 1997, when a researcher found it, scanned it, posted it online, and people started asking questions. Because that sketch, it matches something. Something found elsewhere. Something that shouldn't exist. 1938, Iraq, near Baghdad. German archaeological team, excavating Sumerian sites. They found a cylinder, metallic, different from Chevalier's. Smaller, 8 inches long, 3 inches diameter. But the same symbols, same spiral patterns, same geometric designs, same pre-hieroglyphic script. Tested the metal. Unknown composition, high density, extreme hardness, non-reactive to acids, heat-resistant beyond any known alloy. The cylinder was hollow. They X-rayed it. Something inside, liquid or powder, couldn't tell. They tried to open it, failed. No seams, no caps, no threads. Solid construction. Appeared seamless. How do you open a seamless metal cylinder? You don't, not without destroying it. So they studied the exterior, documented everything, published preliminary findings, planned deeper analysis. Then World War II started. 1939. Iraq became strategically important. British occupied it. German team expelled.
Artifacts confiscated, disappeared into British museum storage. Officially catalogued, practically forgotten. Buried in basement archives. Case number B-73419. Sumerian cylinder. Unknown purpose. Undated. Never displayed. Never studied further. Never explained. But photographs exist. In the original German reports, archived in Berlin, survived the war, available to researchers, if they know where to look. And the symbols? Identical to Chevalier's sketch, down to specific details. Spiral rotation direction, circle spacing, line thickness. Same language, same script, same source. Egypt, Iraq, 2,000 miles apart. Different cultures, different eras, different contexts. Same artifact, same symbols, same impossible metal. Coincidence? Or evidence of something bigger? Something connecting ancient civilizations? Something they all inherited? Or someone they all met? And something modern authorities desperately want hidden. But it gets stranger, much stranger. 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. You know the story. UFO crash, military recovery, weather balloon explanation, cover-up allegations. Official story? Debris from Project Mogul, high-altitude surveillance balloon, top secret. Misidentified as alien craft. Mass hysteria, conspiracy theories. Fine, believe that. But here's the detail nobody talks about. The metal. Witnesses described it. Thin, lightweight, flexible. You could crumple it, it would spring back, perfectly. No creases, no damage. Self-healing material, extreme strength. Couldn't cut it, couldn't tear it, couldn't burn it. Blowtorch didn't mark it. Sledgehammer didn't dent it. Major Jesse Marcel, intelligence officer, first responder. He handled the debris, described it publicly. 1978 interview before he died. The metal was like nothing I'd ever seen. Lighter than aluminum, stronger than steel. Had strange symbols embossed on it. Not English, not Russian, not any alphabet I recognized. Symbols.
Like hieroglyphs, but different. Geometric, abstract, ancient-looking. Sound familiar? Marcel's description? Matches the metal from Chevalier's cylinder. Matches the Baghdad cylinder. Extreme hardness, unknown composition. Mysterious symbols. Same properties, same markings, same impossibility. And all three
confiscated, classified, hidden, denied. Now think about what that means. Really think. Step back and see the pattern. 1933, Egypt. Cylinder found, confiscated by British intelligence. 3 witnesses dead within hours. Researcher silenced. Evidence buried. 1938, Iraq. Cylinder found, confiscated by British Museum. Never studied, never displayed, lost in archives. 1947, New Mexico. Debris found, confiscated by U.S. military, witnesses threatened, project classified, files sealed. 3 discoveries, same impossible material, same mysterious symbols, same government seizure. 3 separate events, 14 years. Different continents, different circumstances, but the same response. Immediate confiscation, total suppression, complete denial. Why? What connects them? What makes them so dangerous? Because they prove something undeniable, something that shatters the official narrative. Advanced materials, beyond current technology, found in ancient contexts or extraterrestrial contexts. Either way, proof we're not alone, never were alone. Either ancient civilizations had technology we don't understand, or someone else gave it to them. Both options? Unacceptable to the establishment. Both options? Destroy the current power structure. So they bury it, lock it away, threaten anyone who talks, kill anyone who won't stay silent. Keep the public ignorant. Keep the narrative intact. Keep control. And it works. For decades. The secrets stay buried. The witnesses stay silent. The evidence stays hidden. Until someone digs too deep, asks too many questions, connects too many dots. Then, accidents happen. Heart attacks, suicides, car crashes, unexplained deaths. The pattern holds. Dr. James McDonald, atmospheric physicist, University of Arizona, studied UFO phenomena, 1960s and 70s, serious researcher. Credentials impeccable. Science-based approach, testified before Congress, 1968. Presented evidence. Multiple military sightings, radar confirmations, pilot testimonies, physical traces. Argued for serious scientific investigation, proper funding, transparency, no ridicule, no dismissal. Government response? Discredit him, attack his character, question his competence, destroy his reputation. He kept researching, kept publishing, kept demanding answers. 1971, found dead. Gunshot wound to the head, ruled suicide. No note, no explanation, no witnesses. Family disputed the ruling, said he wasn't suicidal, had no depression, had ongoing projects, had reasons to live. Investigators' response? Case closed, move on. Doctor. Morris Jessup, astronomer, astrophysicist, UFO researcher, wrote The Case for the UFO, 1955. Detailed analysis, physical evidence, mathematical calculations, proposed unified field theory connection, anti-gravity propulsion, advanced physics. Received strange letters, cryptic messages, anonymous sources. Someone feeding him information, classified information, government secrets. He planned to publish everything, expose the truth, break the silence. 1959, found dead in his car. Carbon monoxide poisoning, hose from exhaust to window.
ruled suicide. No note, no explanation. Friends said impossible, said he was excited, working on breakthrough research, about to publish major findings. Investigators' response? Suicide. Case closed. Professor James Edward MacDonald, different from James MacDonald mentioned earlier. Wait, same person, already mentioned. The pattern blurs. Too many deaths, too many Jameses, too many MacDonalds, too many coincidences. Let me refocus. The point stands. Researchers who push too hard, they don't last long. And the objects they study, they vanish. Into military bases, private collections, underground vaults. Where are Chevalier's cylinders now? Where's the Baghdad artifact? Where's the Roswell debris? Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Hangar 18, allegedly. According to whistleblowers, multiple sources, independent testimonies. Bob Lazar mentioned it. Area 51, S4 facility, underground levels, recovered craft, unknown materials, reverse engineering programs. Philip Corso, Lieutenant Colonel, Army Intelligence, wrote the day after Roswell, 1997, claimed he handled debris, distributed it to defense contractors, integrated alien technology into human applications. Fiber optics, integrated circuits, lasers, night vision, Kevlar, all reverse-engineered from Roswell materials, according to Corso. Government denied everything, called him delusional, discredited his service record. Attacked his credibility. He died 1 year after publishing. Heart attack, age 83. Natural causes. Convenient timing. So here's the question. If these materials exist, and evidence suggests they do, what are they? Who made them? When? How? Why? And why are they identical across cultures and centuries? Because that's the key. The symbols match. Egypt, Iraq, New Mexico, different times, different places, same script, same language, universal language, mathematical language, geometric language, not dependent on culture, not dependent on era, not dependent on planet. A language designed to be understood anywhere, anytime, by anyone intelligent enough to study it. Who designs that kind of language? Who needs it? Travelers, explorers, visitors, beings moving between worlds, between cultures, between species, leaving markers, leaving tools, leaving knowledge for those ready to understand. But humanity? Not ready. Not then. Maybe not now. So the objects remain hidden, locked away, classified until we prove ourselves worthy, or until we force the truth into light. And we're getting close, closer than ever. Because technology improves, information spreads, secrets leak, whistleblowers emerge, documents declassified, photographs released. The walls are cracking, the narrative weakening, the cover-up failing. 2017, Pentagon admits UFO program existed. Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. $22 million budget, 5 years of operation, 2007 to 2012. They studied anomalous aerial phenomena, tracked military encounters, analyzed flight characteristics, documented impossible maneuvers. Luis Elizondo, program director, resigned in protest. 2017, said government wasn't taking threats seriously, wasn't sharing information, wasn't being transparent. He went public, released Navy footage, 3 videos, Tic Tac object,
gimbal rotation, go-fast maneuver.
Craft performing impossible physics, instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic speeds, no visible propulsion, no heat signature, no sonic boom. Pentagon confirmed videos authentic, confirmed encounters real, confirmed objects unidentified. But no explanation, no follow-up, no investigation, just acknowledgement. Then silence. Because explaining means admitting. Admitting means revealing. Revealing means losing control. Can't have that. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But the cat's out of the bag. Public knows now. Objects exist. Technology exists. Unknown origin. Next question becomes, where did it come from? And if you follow the evidence, if you track the artifacts, if you study the symbols, answer becomes clear. It's been here for thousands of years. Hidden in plain sight, scattered across the globe, buried, forgotten, suppressed. Ancient civilizations had it, used it, lost it, or had it taken away. And we've been fed a lie ever since. Told we're primitive descendants, told progress is linear. Told technology is modern. But the stones prove otherwise. The metals prove otherwise. The symbols prove otherwise. We inherited a world we don't understand, built on foundations we didn't lay, using knowledge we didn't discover. Someone came before. Someone built before. Someone knew before. And that someone left clues, artifacts, messages, proof. Proof we're not the first, not the only, not the smartest. Proof that humbles us, terrifies us, liberates us. If they accept it, if they admit it, if they tell us. But they won't. Not willingly. Not without force. Not without revolution. So the fight continues. Researchers digging, whistleblowers speaking, truth seekers questioning. And one by one, piece by piece, artifact by artifact, the picture emerges. The pattern clarifies. The truth surfaces. And it's more shocking than anyone imagined. Because there's one more thing, one final piece, one discovery that connects everything. Antarctica, 2001. International Ice Core Drilling Project, Russian team, Vostok Station, deep ice sampling, climate research, standard scientific procedure. They drilled 3,723 meters deep, nearly 2.5 miles. Ice dating back 420,000 years. At 3,720 meters, they hit something. Resistance. Harder than ice. Different density. Different composition. Drilling stopped. Sensors deployed. Subsurface radar, sonar mapping, thermal imaging. Results? Anomaly. Massive structure, buried beneath ice. Dimensions approximately 2 miles long, 1 mile wide, 300 feet tall. Geometric shape, too precise for natural formation. Right angles, symmetrical design, intentional architecture. Dating the ice layer above it, 150,000 years old, minimum. Meaning the structure predates modern humans, predates Homo sapiens, predates everything we call civilization. Russian team reported findings. Requested permission for excavation. International committee denied. Site declared protected zone. No drilling, no excavation, no investigation. Why? Environmental concerns, pristine ecosystem, subsurface lake, potential contamination. Fine, logical, reasonable. Except they kept drilling elsewhere. Dozens of other sites, same ecosystem, same concerns, different results. Only Vostok structure forbidden. Only this anomaly restricted. Only this discovery suppressed. Russian scientist Dr. Sergei Volkov, team leader. He protested, demanded investigation, argued scientific necessity. 2002. Found dead in his apartment, Moscow. Gas leak. Age 49. Healthy, experienced. Dead. Investigation cursory. Accidental death. No foul play. Case closed. His research notes? Confiscated. Computer seized. Files deleted. Backups destroyed. Official explanation? Security protocol. Classified research. Standard procedure. Convenient. But satellite images exist. Thermal scans exist.
Radar data exists. Independent researchers accessed them, analyzed them, confirmed the anomaly. Structure exists. Under Antarctic ice. Impossible age. Unknown origin. Deliberately hidden. And it's not alone. Ground-penetrating radar mapping, 2015. Multiple teams, multiple sites. Antarctica, Greenland, northern Canada. Dozens of anomalies. Buried structures, ancient foundations, geometric patterns. All beneath ice. All predating known civilization. All ignored by mainstream science. Dismissed as glacial formations, natural processes, pareidolia, wishful thinking. But the data doesn't lie. The measurements don't lie. The geometry doesn't lie. Structures exist. Ancient structures, advanced structures, worldwide distribution. Built before the ice, before the floods, before recorded history. Built by someone who knew what they were doing, someone who had the technology, someone who had the knowledge. And then, gone, buried, frozen, lost. Until now. Until we dig deep enough, until we look close enough, until we question hard enough. And when we find them, when we excavate them, when we study them, what will they contain? What will they reveal? What will they prove? The answer terrifies them. The answer destroys everything. The answer changes everything. Because if those structures contain the same symbols, the same metals, the same technology as Chevalier's cylinder, as the Baghdad artifact, as the Roswell debris, then it's all connected, all related, all part of the same story. A story of ancient advanced civilization. A story of lost knowledge. A story of catastrophic reset. Or worse, a story of outside intervention. A story of visitors. A story of contact. Contact that happened thousands of years ago. Contact that shaped human development. Contact that gave us knowledge we weren't ready for. Knowledge we used. Knowledge we lost. Knowledge we're rediscovering. And those in power, they know. They've always known.
They found the evidence. They studied the artifacts. They reverse-engineered the technology. And they kept it secret, hoarded it, weaponized it, used it for control, while telling us we're alone, telling us we're primitive, telling us to accept the narrative. But the truth is leaking, faster every year, harder to contain, impossible to stop. researchers sharing data, whistleblowers breaking silence, technology enabling investigation. The dam is cracking. The flood is coming. The revelation is inevitable. Question is, are we ready? Can we handle it? Will we survive it? Or will the truth destroy us, like it destroyed those who came before? Because one thing is certain. This has happened before. Civilization has risen, knowledge has accumulated, technology has advanced, and then collapse, reset, forgetting. The cycle repeats over and over, throughout history, throughout prehistory. We're not the first. We might not be the last, unless we break the pattern, unless we remember.
Unless we learn. But they don't want us to learn. They don't want us to remember. They don't want us to break free. So they hide the evidence. They bury the artifacts. They silence the researchers. They maintain control. They preserve power. They protect the lie. And most people, they accept it. They believe it. They never question. But you're different. You're watching this. You're thinking. You're questioning. You see the contradictions. You see the patterns. You see the truth. And that makes you dangerous. That makes you a threat. That makes you a target. So be careful. Be smart. Be aware. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know, you can't unknow it. Once you understand, you become responsible. Responsible for spreading the truth. Responsible for waking others. Responsible for breaking the cycle. Can you handle that? Are you ready for that? Will you accept that? Because the next part, the final revelation, it's going to change everything you thought you knew about human history, about human origin, about human purpose, and there's no going back. The evidence exists, hidden in a place they thought was unreachable, guarded by ice, protected by isolation, forgotten by time. But technology advances, climate changes, ice melts, secrets surface. And what's buried beneath Antarctica? What's locked in those ancient structures? What's waiting to be found? Documents, records, proof. Proof of who we were, proof of what we lost, proof of who helped us, or who enslaved us. And the race is on. Governments mobilizing, private expeditions launching, secret teams excavating, everyone searching, everyone digging, everyone desperate to find it first. Because whoever controls the evidence controls the narrative. Whoever controls the narrative controls humanity. Whoever controls humanity controls the future. And the future? It's being decided right now, under the ice, in the darkness, beyond public view. While we're distracted, while we're divided, while we're asleep, they're uncovering our past. They're rewriting our history. They're determining our destiny. Without our knowledge, without our consent, without our input. And when they're done, when they've secured everything, when they've consolidated control, what then? What happens to us? What happens to the truth? But there's one person who knows, one person who saw, one person who survived. Dr. Sarah Chen, glaciologist, McMurdo Station, Antarctica, 2022. Part of Climate Research Team, Ice Core Analysis, Standard Assignment. She saw something, in the samples, in the data, in the images. Something that didn't fit, something that shouldn't exist, something that proved everything. She documented it, photographed it,
prepared to publish. And then, silence. Complete communication blackout. No emails, no calls, no contact. Official explanation? Equipment failure, satellite malfunction, normal Antarctic isolation.
But her family knows different. Her colleagues know different. Her friends know different. She's alive. She's detained. She's being silenced. Because what she found, what she photographed, what she was about to reveal, would shatter everything. December 20th, 2022. McMurdo Station, Antarctica. 3 a.m. local time. Dr. Sarah Chen couldn't sleep. Too cold, too loud. Wind hammering the station walls, ice creaking, metal groaning. She got up, went to the lab, needed to review the data again. The ice core samples from Sector 7, the ones with the anomalies. She'd been studying them for 6 weeks, since November. Temperature readings didn't make sense. Isotope ratios were wrong. Chemical composition showed impossible elements, elements that shouldn't exist in natural ice, shouldn't exist in Earth's crust, shouldn't exist, period. Iridium concentrations 50 times normal background levels. Osmium, platinum group metals, all clustered in one specific layer. The layer dated to 147,000 years ago. That layer also contained something else. Microscopic particles, metallic, non-terrestrial composition. Same properties as the Chevalier cylinder. Same properties as the Baghdad artifact. Same properties as Roswell debris. But here's what made it undeniable. The particles weren't random. They were structured, organized, arranged in geometric patterns. Intentional distribution. Someone put them there. Someone who controlled advanced technology. Someone who operated 147,000 years ago. Chen ran the analysis 17 times. Different equipment, different methods, different samples. Same results every time. She prepared her report, documented everything, ready to submit to the International Glaciology Journal. Then her supervisor called her in. December 19th, morning. Director Morrison, American, NSF appointed, 15 years Antarctica experience. He told her the research was classified.
National security implications. Submit all data. Delete all personal copies. Sign non-disclosure agreement. She refused. This was science, public knowledge, humanity's right to know. Morrison's response? You're relieved of duty, effective immediately. Next flight out. December 23rd, 3 days. She protested, called colleagues, called family, called journalists. No response. Communications blocked. Satellite links restricted. Station lockdown. Nobody in or out except approved personnel. So she did the only thing she could. She smuggled the data out. Copied everything to encrypted drives, 3 separate drives. Hid them in supply crates scheduled for offload. Different destinations, different routes, different handlers. If they caught one, 2 others would survive. If they caught 2, 1 would still make it through. And December 23rd, she boarded the transport plane, said nothing, acted compliant, flew to Christchurch, New Zealand, arrived December 24th.
Christmas Eve. Went straight to internet cafe, public computer, anonymous access. Uploaded everything. Research data, photographs, analysis, conclusions. Posted to multiple sites, scientific forums, conspiracy boards, social media, news outlets. Everywhere. Then she disappeared. Went dark. No contact, no location, no trace. because she knew what happened to researchers who revealed too much. Chevalier, Volkov, Jessup, MacDonald. The list went on. But her data survived. Spread, copied, downloaded, shared. Thousands of times, millions of times. Too late to suppress, too widespread to delete, too important to ignore. And the scientific community, they couldn't ignore it anymore. The evidence was overwhelming. The analysis was solid. The conclusions were unavoidable. Something happened 147,000 years ago. Something involving advanced technology. Something that left permanent markers in Antarctic ice. The question wasn't if. The question was, what?
And when you combined Chen's data with everything else, the cylinders, the structures, the symbols, the metals, the answer became clear. Contact, intervention, visitation. Someone came to Earth, long before recorded history, long before modern humans, long before civilization. They brought technology, they brought knowledge, they brought materials, and they left evidence, scattered across the planet, buried in ice, hidden in tombs, sealed in chambers. Evidence we're now finding, evidence we're now analyzing, evidence we're now understanding. And it proves everything they told us was wrong. So let's connect the dots, all of them, every artifact, every anomaly, every suppressed discovery. Chevalier's cylinder, Egypt, 1933, metallic object, unknown composition, pre-hieroglyphic symbols, confiscated immediately. 3 witnesses dead, researcher silenced. Why? Because the symbols weren't Egyptian. They were universal, mathematical, geometric.
Language designed to transcend culture, transcend species, transcend time. A message, instructions, knowledge encoded in pure mathematics. The Baghdad cylinder, Iraq, 1938. Same symbols, same metal, same purpose. Confiscated, hidden, forgotten. 2 cylinders, 2,000 miles apart. Same technology, same language, same origin. Not coincidence, not parallel development. Connection. Ancient global network, shared knowledge, common source. Roswell debris, New Mexico, 1947. Same metal, same symbols, same impossible properties. Confiscated, classified, denied. But this time, not ancient, recent, modern, fresh. Meaning the source is still active, still present, still watching. Or was in 1947. The Antarctic structures, buried beneath ice, 150,000 years old. Geometric precision, intentional design. Same thermal signatures as the metallic artifacts, built by the same technology, built by the same beings. Built for the same purpose. What purpose? Storage, archives, preservation. Preserving what? Knowledge, history, evidence. Evidence of what? Themselves, their presence, their intervention. They built repositories around the globe, different continents, different climates, different geological contexts, ensuring survival, ensuring discovery, ensuring remembrance. But by whom? Discovered by whom? Remembered by whom? By us, eventually, when we advanced enough, when we developed enough, when we were ready enough. And we're getting there,
Technology improving, science progressing, questions multiplying. We're finding the repositories, excavating the sites, analyzing the artifacts, decoding the symbols. And the message is becoming clear, written in mathematics, expressed in geometry, preserved in metal. They were here. They helped us. They left us tools. They left us knowledge. They left us a legacy. But then something happened. Something catastrophic. Something that reset everything. The flood. Not mythological, geological, real. 12,800 years ago, end of the Ice Age. Younger Dryas impact event. Comet fragments striking ice sheets. Massive melting. Rapid sea level rise. 400 feet in centuries. Coastlines drowned. Settlements destroyed. Populations decimated. Civilizations erased. Every culture has flood myths. Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, India, China, Americas, Pacific Islands. Different names, different details. Same event. Global catastrophe. Near total destruction. Official science acknowledges the flooding. Geological evidence undeniable. Ice core data confirms. Sediment layers prove it. But they won't acknowledge the implication. Won't admit what was lost. Won't recognize what existed before. Because accepting pre-flood civilization means rewriting everything. History, archaeology, anthropology, all wrong, all incomplete, all missing the biggest chapter. The chapter where humanity wasn't alone, where we had help.
Where we inherited technology from something older, something wiser, something beyond. That chapter? They can't allow it. Too destabilizing, too revolutionary, too dangerous. So they suppress, they dismiss, they deny. But the evidence doesn't care. The artifacts don't disappear. The truth doesn't fade. It accumulates. It spreads. It becomes undeniable. And we're at that point now. The tipping point. The moment of revelation. Where enough people know, enough evidence exists, enough questions demanded answers. And the dam is breaking. 2023, June. The first cylinder was opened. Not Chevalier's original, that's still missing, but a new one, found in Peru, Nazca region, by local farmer, plowing field. Hit something hard. Metal cylinder, 18 inches long, 6 inches diameter. Same symbols, same metal, same everything. He reported it. University team excavated. Peruvian archaeologists. Government supervised. International observers present. They documented everything. Photographed, measured, tested. Then attempted to open it. Took 6 months. Different techniques, ultrasonic analysis, CT scans, molecular imaging. Finally, resonance frequency. Specific tone, harmonic vibration. The cylinder responded. Seams appeared, previously invisible. It opened. Inside, a smaller cylinder, nested, 4 inches long, 2 inches diameter. Same metal, different symbols. And inside that, crystalline matrix, synthetic, engineered, data storage medium, like a hard drive, but analog, mechanical, quantum, using molecular structures to encode information, 3-dimensional patterns, trillions of data points. Reading it required specialized equipment, electron microscopes, quantum computers, cryptographic algorithms. Took another 8 months. Different teams, different countries,
Collaborative effort. No single government could control it. Too public, too many witnesses, too much scrutiny. March 2024. They decoded the first layer.
Released preliminary findings. Press conference. Lima. Streaming worldwide. The cylinder contained mathematical formulas, physics equations, engineering specifications, astronomical data, star charts, genetic sequences, chemical compositions, material science, energy systems, propulsion designs, medical knowledge, agricultural techniques. Thousands of pages worth. Encyclopedia of advanced knowledge, technology centuries beyond current capability. And a message, written in the same universal geometric language, translated into binary, into mathematics, into concepts any sufficiently advanced species could understand. The message said this: "We came, we helped, we left. Return when ready." 9 words, simple, clear, undeniable, followed by coordinates, specific location, not on Earth, different solar system, 47 light-years away, constellation Scorpius, exoplanet, potentially habitable, recently confirmed by James Webb Telescope. The cylinder provided propulsion specifications, faster than light travel, manipulation of space-time, theoretical physics made practical, everything we needed, everything we asked for, everything we sought, given freely, preserved carefully, waiting patiently, for us to find it, for us to decode it, for us to understand it, for us to be ready. And that press conference changed everything. Couldn't suppress it, couldn't deny it, couldn't spin it. Too public, too verified, too important. Within 48 hours, global reaction. Every news outlet, every government, every institution forced to respond, forced to acknowledge, forced to adapt. Some embraced it, called it humanity's greatest discovery, new era, new beginning, new possibilities. Others rejected it, called it hoax, conspiracy, elaborate deception. But the evidence didn't care. The cylinder existed, the data was real, the mathematics worked. Scientists worldwide verified it, replicated experiments, confirmed results. Peer-reviewed publications, consensus building. We weren't alone. Never were alone. And now we had proof. Proof that survived suppression, survived denial, survived centuries of cover-up. Because they couldn't destroy all the cylinders, couldn't find all the repositories, couldn't erase all the evidence. Too scattered, too hidden, too resilient. And now, the floodgates opened. More cylinders found. Egypt, China, Australia, Brazil, Siberia. Dozens of them. All containing similar data. All confirming the message. The repositories in Antarctica? Excavation approved. International teams mobilized. Transparency mandated. Public access guaranteed. What they're finding? Staggering. Libraries, archives, artifacts, technology, preserved for thousands of years, waiting for us. And Gantenbrink's shaft? The copper door in the Great Pyramid, finally opened. July 2024, live broadcast, millions watching. Behind the door, another cylinder, larger than the others, 2 feet long. 8 inches diameter, same metal, same symbols. Inside, complete historical record. Ancient Egypt, pre-dynastic era,
Timeline extending back 35,000 years. Names, events, technologies, achievements. Proof of advanced civilization. Proof of contact. Proof of everything denied. The Egyptian government tried to suppress it. Too late. Already broadcast, already recorded, already spread. Truth can't be unshared. Knowledge can't be unlearned. Evidence can't be unseen. And Dr. Sarah Chen? She came forward. August 2024, held press conference, revealed everything. Her data, her analysis, her experience. Explained how they tried to silence her, how they threatened her, how they suppressed her research. But she survived. She persisted. She shared the truth. And she wasn't alone. Other researchers came forward, other whistleblowers, other survivors, all with similar stories. Suppression, intimidation, threats, violence. But all with evidence, data, proof.
Verification. Collectively, undeniable. Pattern too clear. Conspiracy too obvious. Cover-up too extensive. Governments worldwide faced pressure. Investigations launched. Documents declassified. Archives opened. 70 years of hidden research released, made public, shared freely. And the picture emerged, complete, comprehensive, shocking. They knew all along. Since Roswell, since Chevalier, since earlier, found artifacts, studied technology, reverse-engineered systems, weaponized knowledge, created secret programs, black projects, unacknowledged operations, trillions in hidden funding, all while telling us we were alone, all while mocking researchers, all while suppressing evidence. Why? Control, power, advantage. Whoever controlled the technology controlled the future. Whoever understood the knowledge dominated the planet. So they kept it secret, kept it military, kept it classified, and used it. Developed weapons, created systems, advanced capabilities. While the public remained ignorant, remained primitive, remained dependent. Classic control mechanism: information asymmetry, elite knowledge, masses in darkness. But that era? Ending. The revelation happened. The truth spread. The people knew. And they demanded accountability, demanded transparency, demanded access to the knowledge, to the technology, to the truth. And slowly, reluctantly, governments complied, released data, shared findings, opened programs. Because the alternative? Revolution, collapse, complete loss of legitimacy. Better to adapt, better to evolve, better to embrace the new reality. The reality where humanity understands its true history, its true potential, its true place in the cosmos. So what does it all mean? What's the takeaway? What's the conclusion? Simple. We were never primitive, never ignorant, never alone. We inherited a legacy, advanced knowledge, ancient technology, cosmic connection, given to us by beings who came before, who helped us, who left when their work was done, leaving markers, leaving tools, leaving messages, waiting for us to mature, to advance, to be ready. And we're ready now. Finally, after thousands of years, after countless setbacks, after near extinction,
We're ready to reclaim our legacy, to understand our past, to embrace our future. But it requires us to act, to demand, to insist, because those in power, they still want control, still want secrecy, still want advantage. They'll release information slowly, carefully, controlled, unless we force transparency, unless we demand full disclosure, unless we refuse to accept anything less. And that's where you come in. Everyone watching this, everyone who made it this far, you're the 1%, the truth seekers, the question askers, the paradigm shifters. You're the ones who won't accept the official story, won't believe the comfortable lies, won't stop digging until you find the truth. And you found it, right here, right now. This video. Everything connected, everything explained, everything revealed. But knowing isn't enough. Understanding isn't enough. Believing isn't enough. You have to share it, spread it, amplify it. Because they'll try to suppress this too. They always do. Flag the video, restrict the reach, shadow ban the content. They'll call it misinformation, conspiracy theory, dangerous content. They'll attack the sources, discredit the researchers, mock the evidence. Same playbook, same tactics, same strategy. But it won't work. Not anymore. Not this time. Not if you act. Share this video, download it, re-upload it, mirror it, spread it everywhere. Send it to friends, post it on social media, email it to journalists, show it to family. Make sure it survives. Make sure it spreads. Make sure it reaches critical mass. Because once enough people know, they can't suppress it, can't deny it, can't stop it. Truth becomes unstoppable. Revolution becomes inevitable. Change becomes certain. And humanity finally reclaims what's rightfully ours. Our history, our knowledge, our destiny. But I'll be honest with you, this isn't just about the past. It's about the future. Because if they came once, they can come again. If they left knowledge, they left it for a reason. If they said return when ready, they expect us to return. And we're almost there. Technology advancing, space exploration expanding, scientific understanding deepening. Within decades, maybe less, we'll have the capability. The technology from the cylinders, the propulsion systems, the energy sources. We'll build ships, leave Earth, reach those coordinates, make contact. And what happens then? What do they tell us? What do they show us? Maybe they explain everything, why they came, what they did, where they went. Maybe they reveal the full truth about human origins, about our purpose, about our place in the cosmic community. Or maybe, just maybe, they're testing us, seeing if we're worthy, seeing if we've evolved enough, seeing if we deserve to join them. And the test, how we handled the revelation, how we responded to truth, how we treated each other. Did we unite or divide? Did we share or hoard? Did we evolve or repeat? That's what they're watching for. That's what they're measuring. That's what determines our worthiness. So this moment, right now, this video, this truth, it's not just information. It's a test, a choice, a crossroads. Do you suppress it, ignore it, forget it, continue living the comfortable lie? Or do you embrace it, share it, act on it, help humanity evolve? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The
The responsibility is yours. And the clock is ticking. Because we're not the only ones seeking truth, not the only ones finding artifacts, not the only ones decoding messages. Others are searching too. Other governments, other organizations, other agendas. And whoever controls the narrative controls humanity's future.
Whoever shapes the understanding shapes the outcome. Whoever guides the response guides the species. So act now, share now, speak now, while you still can, while the information is still available, while the window is still open. Because windows close, opportunities fade, moments pass. And this moment, this revelation, this truth, it's the biggest in human history. Don't let it slip away. Don't let them bury it. Don't let silence win. Be the voice. Be the amplifier. Be the catalyst. Share this video. Tag everyone. Use every platform. Demand transparency. Demand disclosure. Demand truth. And watch what happens. Watch the world change. Watch humanity awaken. Watch the future unfold. Because it starts here. It starts now. It starts with you. One last thing. For those who made it this far, for those who watched every second, for those who understood everything, you're ready. You're awake. You're part of something bigger. There are millions like you, across every country, every culture, every background, all seeking truth, all questioning narratives, all refusing to accept the lies. Together, you're unstoppable. United, you're powerful. Organized, you're revolutionary. So find each other, connect, collaborate, coordinate, build networks, share information, support researchers, fund investigations, demand accountability. Because the fight isn't over. The revelation is just beginning. The transformation takes time, but with enough voices, with enough pressure, with enough persistence, nothing can stop it. Nothing can prevent it. Nothing can delay it. Humanity will reclaim its legacy, will understand its history, will embrace its future. And you'll be part of it. You'll remember this moment. You'll tell your grandchildren, I was there when the truth emerged, when the cover-up ended, when everything changed. I shared the video. I spread the message. I helped wake humanity. I was part of the revolution. And they'll ask you, what was it like when you first learned the truth? And you'll tell them, it was terrifying. It was liberating. It was necessary. And it changed everything. Because that's what truth does. It changes everything. Always has. Always will. The question is, are you brave enough to face it? Strong enough to share it? Committed enough to fight for it? I think you are. I think that's why you're here. Why you watched. Why you listened. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're ready. Ready to know. Ready to act. Ready to evolve. So do it. Share this video right now, before you forget, before you hesitate, before you doubt. Share it everywhere. Make it viral. Make it unstoppable. Make it undeniable. And watch what happens. Watch the world wake up. Watch the truth spread. Watch the future begin. It starts now. It starts here. It starts with you.
Are you ready? Then act, share, spread. Wake up, humanity, before they delete this, before they suppress this, before they bury this.
The truth is here. The evidence is real. The time is now. Don't waste it.